to my channel. Oh man, it's another beautiful day, another great interview, and today I'm sitting with one Chemutai Sage. Her latest album, Jungle Trap, has a whole different kind of feel. We're not going to be talking just about music. We'll talk about her life, what she is, and what she stands for. Chemutai Sage, welcome.
Hi, how are you? I'm good.
I'm well. Cheers, cheers. Cheers to the good times.
Cheers. To surviving 2020.
Of course. 2020 has been a crazy year, and I want to know
really
if
has.
there's one thing you've learned out of this year.
I think my biggest lesson is seize the day. Seize the day. Seize the moment. Seize the moment, yeah. Anytime, I feel like we've just been forced into a place where we're now seeing life is not a forever thing. So like you have to actually seize all your opportunities and just, I don't know, I've found out a lot of things about myself during this time that I didn't know. And I've learned more skills than I've learned so many skills, and it's so weird because the first couple of months I was one of those people who took forever to adjust to COVID, guys.
Oh, the fact that you have to social distance,
yeah,
talking to guys,
it was a lot, yeah.
It's great to see that, and you've mentioned something like skills, and I'm like, she's a great songwriter, she's a singer, vocalist. What is this new skill that you have acquired?
So I'm like starting to produce. So like I've just like started teaching myself pole too, and then the other stuff is more house-based DIY things. Yeah. So
some crafty stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. That's
also, I've been forced to teach my daughter, so I guess let's add teacher to my resume.
Okay. That's pretty interesting. Clearly, 2020, some people will come out as winners and losers, and I hope you are among the winners. And you are a winner, especially in music. Though there are some moments when we're like, where is Sage?
Oh my God, yeah.
Because before Jungle Trap, there's quite a silence.
Yeah.
You know?
I think I was releasing music, but like very low key. I was not promoting anything. I'd be called for interviews, and I'm just like, I can't do an interview. I don't want to do an interview. I didn't want to do interviews. I don't know. I was going through it because right after I had my daughter, I think everyone would know by now, but like I suffered through postpartum depression, and after that, it subsequently became like proper depression outside of just the postpartum. Like it really extended. And then getting back to normalcy was really hard for me.
Yes.
So like when I was finally back to normal, I told myself I wouldn't actively come back / promote anything unless I felt like I was 100% okay. So
and you have to.
So even with Jungle Trap, a lot of the music on Jungle Trap was written in 2016, 2017, 2018. So I finished recording it on October 2019, and I was like, okay, now let's get ready to release this baby. And just releasing Jungle Trap was a big deal. It was really scary for me as well, because after such a silence, guys know you from Dumbala and to Alive, and then you come in with a new sound, and it's like, I don't know, girl.
But that's what it's all about. You need to be evolving
so scary.
At all times, doing music a little bit differently, and even putting so much work into it. It's something I keep on talking about, because sometimes I feel like the Kenyan industry, not a lot of work is put into music,
for sure.
From the songwriting to the production. Where do you find the strength to have so much work done? Because I can imagine you'll do vocal lessons, you're now learning production, you're writing music even for other people. Why do you put in so much work when the market right now, it's really like a joke sometimes?
It really is.
Hey, tunaimbia wimbo, ndio hii kikombe, like nothing. There's not so much effort, you know?
I think the first thing is I'm really passionate about music. It's something that I love to do. I can do it in my sleep. So if I need to lose sleep to do music, I am fine with that. But another thing is I'm one of those people who love to be excellent at what they do. I don't like to settle for it's just okay. So it's just something inside me. I just want to be excellent. So whether the market requires it or not, I still want to put out my best. So, and then also the fans and the people who notice those little tiny, like you, if you have noticed that I put in so much effort, like it's always gratifying when someone comes up to you and they're like, I really love this thing, or they notice that tiny thing you did there, and you're like, yes,
thank you.
Yeah.
Though there is a little struggle to want to fit into the industry, you know, because when you look at musicians all over the world, people are classified differently. There are those very commercial singers who just sing for the fans, you know. There are others who express themselves in the music. Is there any struggle to want to fit in and be like, you know, forever trending in the blogs, and you know, is there a struggle to want to be part of that?
I think the struggle for me comes from one. Before I released So Alive and Dumbala, I was already a performing artist and I had a fan base before. So I was like an underground artist with like my own fan base. And then when I released So Alive and Dumbala, I went mainstream. So it's a constant struggle between where like there's no section for me.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm too underground for the mainstream and I'm too mainstream for the underground.
Hey.
So it's so weird. It's it's a very weird place. Because there's some underground awards where they will not nominate me because it's for underground artists.
Yes.
And there's some mainstream awards where they'll just be like, she's too soulful for these mainstream awards. Or like she's too, you know, she's very niche.
Yeah.
It's so weird because especially when I was releasing my EP, I was like, it's more like pop-ish. It's like more modern R&B, and I remember my distribution label rep here telling me she was trying to push it in, I think, Nigeria, and they told her, her music is very niche, and I'm like, what? I thought she was like very like, you know, more mainstream right now, and it hit me that, you know what, I have to create a space of my own.
Yes.
You just have to accept yourself as for who you are and just do what makes you happy. As long as people are receptive to it, you don't have to, because that's another thing. Everyone's like, what is the target audience? And sometimes I'm like, if there's a group of people that are receptive towards it, who will buy it and who sort of connect with it, then I will do whatever it is to make it, you know, to make that flow. Yeah.
Wow. You've got to believe in yourself and just go with what you believe is right. Something I was talking about today in the morning. Kujiaminia. What is the one thing you know in yourself? Umejiaminia. What wanaonanganika abedetorea kitu? Maybe being a dancer, maybe being a makeup artist or whatever. The one thing is like, mimi nimejiaminia. I believe I am the hottest in this game.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I don't know. It's so weird. I'm one of those people who najishuku too. Constantly. Like sometimes girls will be like, oh my god, you're such an amazing songwriter, and I'm just like, thank you. But like I think lately I've really najiaminia kwa songwriting. I'm just like, because the thing with songwriting for me is it comes super easy, and it's not because I think people assume that songwriting comes easy because you're just born with it, but it's something that if you practice constantly, it slowly starts to get easier to like pick up words to just fit into things, and it's very easy to just pick them up and just freestyle and like make something that makes sense. So before, let me tell you, writing Jungle Trap, a lot of the music from Jungle Trap was out of writer's block, and I was just like, I need to write something, and I was forcing myself into writing again because I hadn't written for years. And like now I'm back at the place where I could just write in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Like a song like Dumbala was was funny. Oh God, it's a funny story.
Oh my goodness.
So I went in the studio, and my producer said, okay, so there's this track I want you to like sing on, and then maybe we can sell it to like a rapper. And I was like, oh okay. And like I saw there was vodka in the club, I've called it a club. There was vodka in the studio, and I'm like, can I have some vodka? So I was like,
and then.
Cheers, yes, haha. Play the track. And he played it. I was just like, just let it play over and over and just leave me in the room. Played. And I just start writing, leaving the sky. Like, sometimes I literally write nonsense. Nonsense.
That times there's
and like it got to the end and I was like, what word? And I just said Dumbala, eh. And everyone keeps asking me, what's Dumbala? And I was like, it's just a thing I wrote to finish the writing. And it was so fun because it was a really fun time for me because there was no pressure. It's not it's gonna be a collab with someone else, and it's just like me having fun. And it's so weird because it's always the songs you write from where you're not feeling pressure. It's always those ones that people love because they feel a connection. Because you're not trying to pretend to be someone else.
Yeah.
They're just seeing you being you. And the reception Dumbala got, I was just like, Kai, oh my God, is it my biggest song? Like, for real?
It might just, but
oh
it's
my
not.
God.
I believe there's so many more. Everyone comes up with, Beyonce came up with Single Ladies, and then she came up with something else, Lemonade.
Yeah.
So there's always a room to do better. And Jungle Trap, if you haven't checked it out, you need to. There's some tracks, Pile and Daniel, like one with Kim Life, I think it's very beautiful.
Oh no, that's not in my EP, but like I did it with Kim Life, and I had so much fun doing that song.
Yeah?
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I've never had so much fun doing a song and a video at the same, even the day of the video. So much fun.
It's really sensual. It's a beautiful song. And the one thing I like about you is that you're so true to yourself and you're not scared to speak about your struggles and anything you're going about. When I read that you were suffering from depression, it's not really suffering, but you were struggling with depression, I was like, why? Said you're okay. Ni nakupea stress, you know. And that's something a lot of people assume because when they see you in the limelight, you're looking good, looking fire.
They just think you're okay and everything's fine. But the truth about life is we all go through ups and downs, and people who are prone to depression, I think a lot of people assume depression is someone feeling just low. Sad or like low in life. But depression can have anything to do with past trauma. It could be current trauma. Also like your hormones have a part to play in that. So I like speaking about it, and I don't know if you saw the post I did about attempting suicide, being suicidal, and I've been suicidal for I've had suicidal episodes
child or just
way before my child. So I think the first one after my child was earlier this year. It's the one I wrote the post about. It was in January 2020, and it's so weird because even during the time when I felt suicidal, I was like, am I really here again? Like, am I really here again? Like, am I really at this place where I want to commit suicide? Like, is this even real? And I remember just writing a suicide note in the middle of the night. I texted my friend, just one friend, and I told him, I want to kill myself. And he's like, and he was funny. He thought it was a joke because I was very calm. He called me and I was really like, yeah, I think I'm done. Like,
what did you want to do?
Done.
What were you intending to do when you were writing that note? What was the thought line? Were you going to slit your wrist? Were you going to hang yourself? So
this is the weirdest thing. Because I was so calm this time, and it was scary for me because you'd rather be sort of scared to do it or feel some sort of emotion, but I was really chill, and I was like,
you okay with
I'm going to kill myself. I don't know how. I didn't know how.
Oh, you didn't know
I didn't know how. I just said, I'm going to kill myself. And then this time, something really different happened because usually people will want, like, I remember the first time I tried to commit suicide was right after my dad passed away and I was 11 years old. And everyone's just like, oh my God, you are just a kid. And I was like, yeah, but like my dad passed away. I didn't know how to process that. So what did I do? I went and I got a bunch of aspirin and I like ate that. And so like over the years, it's been aspirin, it's been trying to like stab myself, it's been a bunch of things, but like that night was very weird because I was really chill, and I think I was negotiating with myself basically because I told myself, okay, here's the thing, you want to die, are you 100% sure? Yes. So pick a day, a couple of months from now, pick it, put it in your calendar, mark it as death day, and then between now and then do everything you've ever wanted to do, like just do stuff. Just to do stuff that you feel if you die you'll regret not doing. And my friend kept calling me every other day. He's like, please, I'm praying for you, and like, please don't do this, don't do this. And I'm just like, I'm still doing it, but not right now. So I'm like, I picked a day. He doesn't know the day. I didn't tell him the day.
I hope the day is gone now.
I'm like, I picked the day. So the day was actually 21st July. And I remember waking up on 21st July and seeing Death Day alarm, and I was like, hold up, what?
Wait, it was today?
It was today. I don't want to die. And I don't know, I feel like it, for me, my mind and my body are finding new ways to sort of deal with the suicidal thoughts to prevent me from killing myself, which is a beautiful thing. Like, it's so weird, but like, it's a wonderful thing that my mind is starting to counteract those bad emotions.
Yes. And I like the fact that even as you're talking about it so openly, you're talking about years of a process, something that you have gone through for over the years.
Yeah.
So let me understand, back at 11 years, how did your family react to it? Because in the African setup, even coming to TV to tell people your story, most parents will be like, don't do that. You know, that's tarnishing our name.
Our name, yeah.
You always want to hide the kid who has problems in the back because you don't want that kind of image.
Because like, we're perfect, exactly. In the African setting, the family has to look pristine and perfect. But so nobody knew then. Nobody knew about that. I think everyone is finding out now that I'm talking about it.
Yeah.
But the thing with my family is they have seen me go through these struggles. There was a time I used to have really bad panic attacks. I used to pass out. And it's because there was just like everything was happening because my dad passed away. Then at the end of the year, I got into a car accident. I was in a coma. And like I couldn't walk for 3 months because I fractured my pelvic bone. The next year, my grandpa passed away. The other year, my grandma passed away from cancer. And then after that, I'm going into teenage now. So all those adolescent changes. And then going to high school, to boarding school. And like there's just a lot going on. And I think everyone in my family as well, everyone was just doing their best to keep it together.
Yes.
Within themselves. So, but the thing with my mom is she might not understand. That's the thing. She didn't grow up knowing all this depression. She did not understand, or she did not have a name for these things, but she just stood by me regardless.
Because this is her child.
Like she just stood, because I remember even after I had my daughter, my mom brought me breakfast in bed for so long.
Wow. And
she was the one bathing the baby. I'd wake up to breastfeed at like 2 a.m. and my mom is there in the room and I'm like, hi, what are you doing in the room? She's like, I just wanted to see how you are.
Yeah.
So I think she knew how to handle it even if she didn't know the names for these things, which was I'm extremely blessed to be able to have someone like that who doesn't take it as a
burden.
As a burden, yeah.
Shout out to mommy for that.
Always, always.
It's really great. And you're a mom as well. And I can imagine you would not want the same struggle for your child.
Definitely.
How do you think you want to handle it with your child, knowing that sometimes when you have certain problems, your child could easily pick up on certain, emotional imbalances, How do you think would be the best way for your little girl to not get into depression or
I think the thing, and then especially because now I'm talking about it widely, I just want people to accept their feelings. Because I think we're brought up thinking there are good feelings and there are bad feelings. And you should never have the bad feelings. And if you have the bad feelings, you should never talk about the bad feelings. Because nobody wants to hear about the bad feelings. I'm sad. No, keep it to yourself, please.
How are you doing? People say, I'm fine. All the
time. It feels like, and then you see, even when I wrote the post, I was thinking in my mind, sometimes people want to kill themselves. Saying it lessens your burden by like 50%. Telling someone, hey Kate, Aki, I just feel like I want to kill myself. It already, just saying it out loud, just lessens the burden.
Yes.
The more you keep it internally, the more it builds up, the worse it feels. So even with depression, depression makes you very, like what it did for me was it made me super recluse. And what that does is you can't communicate with anybody else. So it's you dealing with your own problems and your mind keeps feeding you negative information. So the thing I do with my daughter is, even now, I tell her, if she's feeling bad, I want to know.
Yeah.
I want her to just come and just be, even if she doesn't know why, she can just be like, I'm feeling sad. I feel sad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's okay. That's part of life. And I think the reason why a lot of us go through unnecessary depression, and there's some things which we unnecessarily go through, and it's because we refuse to acknowledge our feelings or our emotions.
And we have to acknowledge it. We have to accept that this is where we're at.
Yeah, the thing with feelings is if you don't acknowledge them, they will burden you. They will burden you. So if you're sad, it's okay to say, I'm sad. If you're not in the mood today, it's okay to say, today I'm not in a good mood. And that's fine. And I think we need to allow ourselves to be human again, because another thing is we have commodified humanity so much that it's very hard for you to live, we call ourselves a brand. This is my brand, like we're just constantly trying to sell ourselves.
Yes, I'm a product.
Hey man, capitalism. But like, we've made ourselves into products and we've forgotten that we are human at the end of the day. We're human, we feel happy, we feel sad, we feel, there's nothing like a bad emotion. And I tell my daughter, there's nothing like a bad emotion. It's okay. How like you nyima kids something and they get sad and then you're just like, don't be sad or don't cry. I'm like, it's okay. I'm just like, it's okay, mama. I understand that you feel sad. Because I would feel sad too if I asked for something and someone told me no.
Yeah. Oh, wow. It's really great to see you. Being a mom brings out a very different aspect.
It really does.
A very different aspect about you. Now, I don't know what happens when you're going on stage. Yeah? Which one is switched on? Because I hear every
Sage goes on stage.
Sage goes on stage. Chemutai is at home.
Sage goes on stage. Yeah, Chemutai is the mother and the other human being.
So clearly, there are two different personas. Going on stage, there's Chemutai. There's Sage. At home is Chemutai. That's the balance.
Yes.
It's really
like you have to have that balance, but at the same time, it's really hard to go just as Sage alone when Sage's writing and Sage's experiences are Chemutai's experiences. So I don't know. I'm just really trying to be more. What can I say? I think when I was depressed, I was really guarded. I was guarded. My walls were up. I didn't trust anyone. I didn't want to do interviews because I was like, interviews are going to ask me the wrong questions. I'm going to be frustrated. But I'm at the point where I want to be vulnerable again. I want to, because that's how I began.
Yeah.
That's how a lot of songwriters begin. They just are vulnerable. They are giving a piece of themselves to the world that they might never get back. But it's an honest piece of themselves.
And it's a story shared, and it's an experience of yours that would actually help someone else.
Yeah.
There's so many people you'd help out in your experiences, and the one thing I really like about Sage is that she really doesn't shy away from opening up about her life and even her love life. Oh, we never go so far from that. It is known. Your baby daddy is known all over Kenya. I know. And how is your relationship now with your baby daddy?
Well, I don't like to talk about these things.
I know. It's because I'm seeing a lot of women struggling with that kind of relationship, where you see, yes, we had a child with someone, we're not together, but is there a relationship between you and the child, and is there anything of that?
Well, we are in a, I mean, it's not perfect. It's not perfect. I don't think it, I don't know. I don't strive for perfection. We're not perfect, but I don't know. I'm just hoping for the best over the years. Also, like I'm one of those people who don't like to pressure people into situations that they don't want to be in.
Yeah.
But right now it's just I don't know, going with the flow type of situation. Yeah.
Now, are you going with the flow, also dating yourself?
These Nairobi streets.
What kind of guy is perfect for Sage? Like, if you're looking for a boyfriend for Sage, what would be the perfect package? Tell them now.
I don't know, y'all.
No, but
I don't know, y'all. I
just guy you want. Tall, dark, and handsome. Tell them what kind of guy are you looking for? Tell me. I'm gonna be sips juice first.
Sips water. This is water, lemon water. Man, do I know? I don't know. Like right now, I'm talking to a bunch of people. I don't know. I just need someone who is willing to accept me as myself, and someone who's not afraid of me being in the limelight. Because that's another thing.
Yeah.
Like, it seems like a cute idea to date someone who is in the limelight, and someone whose job is music. It seems like a cool thing, but like in practicality, it's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
People are constantly coming to, hey, hi, can I take a selfie? Hey, you're never alone. Like it just feels, it's a lot. So I need someone who is emotionally mature. That's the word. I need someone who's emotionally mature. Physically, man, I'm not picky. I just have to like you as like, that's the thing. I don't know. I don't have a type. I don't have he has to be tall, he has to be short, he has to be this, has to be this. Yeah, I don't know, man.
Okay, you've had Sage is looking, and she's a fine girl. I'll give
Musini, DMs, please.
It goes down in the DM, my friend.
Watu wa DMs are the dangerous people.
There's something I've realized, a very funny trend in the music industry where, you know, I feel like musicians are being used very badly. In Tanzania, there are so many cases of musicians being charged with drug trafficking.
Ooh.
And when you hear some of the background stories is that some of the musicians are funded by drug traffickers, and then now that's the same money that is used to facilitate their video shoots and things like that. And I get it, it's expensive. It's expensive to shoot. It's going to look like this.
It is.
It's costly. But that leeway, and I think like it's something that has happened for so many years, not even only in Kenya.
Everywhere.
Even in the States, you've seen the story so many times. Even one of the rappers, you know him, the one who has many colors on his hair. He's
Mgani huyo?
But he has so many colors.
I know that one.
And tattoos all over his face.
Yeah.
He got into trouble because he was actually in such kind of a business, you know. And where do you stand in that? Because we say the means does not matter, it's the outcome.
Let me tell you where. Sometimes it's really hard. I get it. I get why they end up there.
Is there truth to that?
Yeah.
Musicians are being used by
some, yes. But like I get it, because here's the thing: as a musician, you're passionate about the music, and then it gets to a point where you don't have money for music videos. You don't have money for this sort of a look that you feel, because sometimes also you lie to yourself. You're just like, if I had that look, I know I'd be selling more records. Or if I had that look, I'd be booking more gigs. If I had that look, you know, they'd take me more serious. And I get it how guys get into that, but like it's a constant. Let me tell you, you constantly, and I think this is not just with musicians, but just in life. You have to take periods of, you have to schedule periods of time in the year where you just sit back and reflect on, one, why am I doing this? Two, am I doing this ethically? Three, like you have to ask yourself particular questions to make sure you're on the right track. Because sometimes you get lost in, let me tell you, it can get messy. If you don't take time to just sit back and be like, look at yourself from a different space and be like, am I doing what I wanted to? Was this the plan? Because it's very easy to get caught up in such things. Very, very easy, man.
You know, so it's such a
some drug dealer comes and offers you money for a music video where you're shooting and you're here, a collab with Beyonce. You'll say no. And you're struggling. And then that's another thing, because a lot of these things come to people when they are really in the trenches. Someone is like, hey, Chemutai has not released music in such a long time. Let me approach her. I'm sure she's like in the gutters now. She's desperate for that money. She's desperate for that fame. She's desperate to do the thing she loves. Then what do? They approach you. You're just over there like, oh, this is God's work. Nazis. Nah.
Better be careful with that.
You have to.
How truthful you are with that. Though I want to know, with the future of music, and there's a question I always ask all musicians when I meet them. I understand Kenyan musicians really want to streamline the way you're earning your money. You know, and I'm glad the president has said a few things here and there that might bring changes. But what part would you want to play yourself to making sure that even the generations to come, that people will at least earn something from their music?
I think the first thing with Kenyan musicians, what we need to do is learn about copyright law. Just learn what are your rights as a musician, because a lot of us don't know our rights. I took a Harvard copyright class in 2018 and my God, they were just telling us things and I was like, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what I'm supposed to do. And I think that was the same time that the Copyright Law Act was being amended in Kenya, and they were asking us to like send in like submissions on what we need to like change, what we need to amend and whatever. So I think one thing I have seen is a lot of musicians don't know what their rights are. It's very hard for you to fight for rights you don't know. It's very hard for you to go to someone who knows your rights
more than you do,
and start tearing yourself when you don't know what your rights are. You can easily just be taken advantage of. So that's one thing. We need to be more savvy when it comes to the laws that protect us. And then to accountability. Because here's another thing I've noticed and I've heard that with some CMOs, what they do is you complain, they see you complaining online and then they just like give you like a small payoff and then they just, you share up. So it's a thing where it's sort of run how some governments are run, where make them poor enough that they need you. Like, don't give them, yeah. So I think as musicians, we also need to think outside of the box of music into what else can we do so that we're not we're not under the control of these people. Like, we can create our own freedoms. But yes, as musicians, we need to fight. We need to fight for fighting for your rights. Pigania
is a right. Itabidi upiganie hizo rights. And I don't know if you've seen some of the tweets by Kanye West. He came out to say that he wants to give up 50% of the...
That's huge. Yeah, I saw. That's huge. And
of some of the... What is this?
Of the basically, he owned like the 50% of the master. And that's a huge percentage of it. If you own your 100% master, you are blessed. Because you can do anything with the music. You own the music 100%. And you see in the States with like record labels and distribution labels and stuff, a lot of these people own portions of your...
You have like 20% of your master. Here in Kenya, how does it work? Your producer, so how is that science? How is that master?
So it depends. Like the master, the person who owns the master is the person who...
master? Master CEO, master of ceremony. Able to ambient. This is
master is the product, is the final product, the song.
Music,
yeah. So the person who owns the master is the person who paid for everything. Like, if I pay for the recording and I pay for the producer, pay for the recording, pay for the mixing and the mastering, then I own the master. Okay. So with record label, that's why. So I am the master. Okay. So most times it's like in the case of record label, the record label pays for all these things. So what do? They own the master. And they just pay you maybe for your songwriting rights and stuff. Maybe it depends on the deal. It depends on the deal that you've signed. So that's why a lot of musicians in the States, what they do, they sign with record labels and then they leave. They can't even sing their own music because...
You can't even sing it in public.
No, you can't.
The song that you wrote.
And then this is the thing. If you wrote it, you can go and re-record it and pay for that. And then you will have that as your... Like, now you own that. Now you can sing that version. Yeah. So... In Kenya, like in relationships, like with, if it's you and your producer, you have an agreement that, okay, cool, you'll own 50% of the master and I'll own 50% of the master. Great, because I'm not paying you for production, but I'm paying for everything else that goes into promoting this music and into facilitating this product. So I think that's how it works for most people here. Although I've noticed a lot of people don't have it written down. They don't have the contract. They don't have the agreement somewhere. They have not signed their split sheets. There are things called split sheets. When you're signing up to MCSK or PRISC, you need to have that so that people know who owns the rights to what. There are mechanical rights, there are songwriters' rights, it's a lot. But like, we need to learn these things, because if you don't learn these things, people will easily take advantage of you. And like, we really don't need that. Like, we need to come to a place where we're treating music as a business. And we need to treat it as a proper business. Because I've noticed the reason why a lot of people treat musicians like it's just like a hobby is because they're seeing that the hobbiness. They're seeing the
like a fun pass by thing.
Yeah.
We need to take it seriously, and I'm glad that we've had that discussion. I hope you've learned something as well. Sage, Chemutai, I think I've had so much fun with you, just talking about your music, your love life, you know, what you're going through, and you seem so much better. Are you going to be championing anything coming to 2021? Are you standing for something right now so that we can see that this is the cause that Sage is behind?
So one, definitely mental health. And definitely mental health when it comes to women. When it comes to mothers, I have a friend called Samoina, and she runs this organization called Postpartum Depression Kenya, and they do a lot of work with postpartum depression sufferers, and not just the women, but also with men, because people don't know that it happens to the men as well. So not exactly the way it happens to women, but yeah, it happens to the men as well. And so I'm thinking of concentrating more on postpartum depression, on depression, suicide, and then also I am a co-host now. We are actually launching on 1st of October, so that's next week. We're launching our podcast, and I'm a co-podcast presenter. Oh my God!
Wow.
And basically, what we're focusing on is the sustainable development goals.
Yeah.
So I am now the co-host of a podcast, the Urban Jungle podcast, and we're talking about sustainable development goals and just sustainable living in general. Because when I was talking to my co-host, I was telling him, instead of just concentrating on just what's going on in the world, let's talk also about sustainable development as human beings with life. Because are we living sustainably? Are we like our mental health, our physical health as well? Are we doing it in a sustainable way? So I think it's a chance for me to really go into weird thing. I don't know if people know, but I have a international relations degree from USIU. And a lot of my courses, which were for my minor, were, I did environmental law, I did water management, I did sustainable, like I did a lot of stuff to do with the environment and sustainability. So it's a nice opportunity for me to really dig deeper and further into that sort of knowledge and just apply it there.
Wow, so much light, so much information you can get from the ever so amazing Chemutai Sage. I had such a good time. Check out her album, Jungle Trap. It's on, it's looking good, it's feeling good. Her music is so sensual. But if you don't know how to write music, she's the one to write it for you.
Call me.
Trust her with that. Okay? Thank you, Mama.
Thank you.
Hi, guys. My name is Gengetone. You want to watch my video? How about to click on like and subscribe on YouTube and watch what we do in studio and even outside.